Things Heard and Seen is one of the movies that I am probably the most mixed on within 2021 so far, but it's a movie that I'm going to be really interested to hear everyone's feedback from. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new movie review. My name is Zach. I am the Wolf of Geek Street, and if you guys love talking movies, then you're probably here for the same reason I am. So make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, as well as comment down below and let me know your thoughts on this film. I need to hear if you guys liked this, if you loved it, if you hated it. I feel like this is going to be a very wide range of emotions when it comes down to this movie, because I got a lot of wide range emotions while watching this movie, and that movie is called Things Heard and Seen. This is about an artist who relocates to the Hudson Valley against the suspect that her marriage has a sinister darkness and one that rivals her new home's history. This is directed and written by, of course, Shari Springer Berman and Robert Polsini, who have both been nominated for an Oscar writing script before. And it stars the likes of James Norton, Amanda Seyfried, Natalia Dyer, Rhys Seehorn, who's freaking amazing in Better Call Saul, and of course Karen Allen, and a wide cast more. This is a great cast. This is a really interesting concept. It's a drama, but it's mixed with a mystery element of horror. And that was something that actually kind of got my attention, was that this was, again, not just your typical psychological horror film, or even your typical jump scare haunted house film, but it actually had this sense of mystery to it. Throughout the entire runtime, I was sitting there really not thought-provoking, but very interested to see where the entire story was going to go. And it's weird because, again, I'm very mixed on this film. Like, my notes, I do like a pro and con list. I do pro, con, and like things in the middle. I didn't have anything in the middle because it has a long range of stuff on the pro side and a long range of stuff on the con side. But let's just start with the pros, and of course that is the performances. I think every single person in here gives an excellent performance, especially Amanda Seyfried, who I've just really absolutely loved what she's been doing with her career the last couple of years. Natalia Dyer is always great. Rhys Seehorn is always a major standout in every single thing she shows up in. And James Norton, again, just plays this role perfectly. That's also the thing with Things Heard and Seen, is that I don't know exactly where to start with this movie, because again, I am so mixed. And I think for once, I'm actually probably going to start with the cons. I found this film to be a little bit generic in its setup and the characters and when they were coming about to a horror approach. And the movie is very paced at a very slow and meandering type way that takes a little bit to finally get going and understanding where the story is. And I actually felt that the story itself could have either been expanded on to not feel as generic in certain elements and set pieces, or in general shortened to cut out some of the fat in here, because there are a lot of moments in here that either I feel like weren't dove into a lot, shouldn't have even been in there at all. That comes about when you are adapting a book. Sometimes it is harder to adapt a book. Now, going through and kind of reading like the cliff notes on the book and kind of seeing what the differences is and what they kept, I understand that they tried to keep a majority of everything, but it seems like the book really dove into heavier details on certain elements, and I kind of wish the movie would have tackled that in a very heavier light. And if you've read the book, please let me know down below what your thoughts are. And like I said, the pacing of this movie is a detriment to it, because it does take a while. And while I was interested and intrigued, it started to lose me by the second act until it finally started overturning some of the elements that are playing around in here. Again, even when it does get there, it does have some abrupt storylines that I'm like, okay, so that really didn't go anywhere, and that character didn't really even need to be in here. You could have like done a flashback to the past, kind of displayed this certain element, and it would have pretty much done the exact same thing. But of course, while those are my cons, jumping back over to the pros, I did enjoy the way that the film was overall shot. I think it was filmed in a very unique way. The cinematography, and especially the camera movements and angles, and even in general the editing in certain sequences, actually kind of gave me chills up my spine. Not in the sense of a jump scare, but just the atmosphere that was brought about. And in a sense, they made this house a character of its own, and one that I was really much infused by and actually interested within. Having this underlying seductive and disturbing tone throughout the entire movie was something to really think about. Personally, it actually really fit. It's haunting, it's deep at moments, and again, some of those moments I really loved, and I wish they would have dove into a little bit deeper. The cast is so amazing. Some of the imagery in here is honestly really creepy and a little bit riveting at times. And in general, those are some of the elements that really brought the film to those heights that I wanted it to see, and I could see the potential within here. And it frames, again, mystery and horror so well, and I didn't expect it to frame those two genres at all. It did in a really unique way. I just wish it would have really gone forward, because while it mixes those genres well, It feels like there's like 2 or 3 different stories happening within this movie at the same exact time, and none of them really come together to really culminate or formulate something that I feel like could have been deeper. It feels like there's a deep thing in here to really analyze, but I just couldn't. As much as I sat on the film for the last couple of days, I just could not figure it out for the death of me. I think that's where it's going to kind of leave people. Some people will really love the ending, and some others will not. It will very much turn them off and be like, I wasted my time. Things heard and seen is, again, something that I'm so mixed on. There's elements that I really loved about the movie. There's things that I absolutely hated about the movie, and that's where I kind of just come down to that. I think this is a movie that a lot of people are going to fall either in the middle or on 2 of the opposite sides. I love it or I hate it. This is an interesting movie, that one that I just feel like I see all the potential within, but not one that I could completely shake in any other way. The performances are great. It's interesting for the most part. I like how they frame both of the genres, but the multiple different storylines in here that I feel like really never go anywhere. You could have done like different stories, or in general, this maybe would have worked better as a mini-series, expanding these elements and actually touching into the entire layer of what it was trying to talk about. It's hard to adapt a book. I understand that. But I feel like some elements probably could have been missed because some of them didn't really go anywhere at all, or certain things happen that are very abrupt. I'm like, oh, that was crazy. All that said, guys, I'm going to give Things Heard and Seen a C. Again, very mixed on this one, but weirdly enough, I would recommend that you try and check it out and let me know your thoughts down below. That way I have someone else to talk about this film with, and that's what I love talking about down below in the comment section. I try to reply back to every single person, so let's discuss it all down below in the comment section. Hit that like and subscribe button, as well as head on over to Sam Chun Films on how to see films early, and of course, it's a big thank you to you, and a big thank you to my Patreon supporters, because without you, I wouldn't be able to do this. So of course, until next time, stay classy.